Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this like a podcast and just listen while I chat. I am working on today my Enchanted Forest from Diamond Art Club. It's going really quickly. I'm super happy with it. It's super cute, and I'm over halfway done. So I have flipped it around. I'm going to be working on it upside down so I can work on the top half. And yeah, so I'm going to move things around, zoom into where I will be working so you guys have a good view of what I'm doing, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, let me just grab a drill. I think I'm actually going to start with these special drills. And let me start my timer. And I will just jump in. So this kit has this one special drill, these quad cubes for some of the lights here. And so I'm using my Pretty Placer diamond painting crayon. If you don't have one of these, you should try them. I've had this one for probably over a year, and this is all I've used of it. I typically only use it for special drills. You can use it to place all your drills if you want. I'm just too hard of a placer, and I feel like I waste too much of the wax. So I actually have two of these. Good enough for a lifetime. Highly recommend. But I really love them for special drills. Okay, so there's that one placed. Let me see. Let me jump into my life update and what's going on in my life. You guys, it feels like it's already been forever since our trip to Canada, but it's only really been like a week. I mean, I guess technically 2 weeks. It's been a week since we got back or so, and we were there for a little over a week, so... But yeah, it just feels like it was forever ago already. I think I told you guys in one of my WIP and Chats on the from Canada that on the way there we traveled with a lady who had triplets, and that was a trip and a half. That trip seems so much more enjoyable, the trip there, than our trip home. I don't know if it's because we were just anxious to get home. We were just tired because we'd been away from home for so long. But the last two legs of our flights were not fun. On the way home, every leg of our flight had at least 2 kids on it. And, you know, I don't fault people for traveling with kids. When you have kids, what are you going to do? Either you travel with them or you don't travel. And, you know, kids will be kids. Kids don't like being cooped up. Kids don't like not being able to move around. Kids don't like having to sit and be quiet. And... you know, I've traveled with an infant myself. It's mortifying when your kid won't stop crying and you know they're annoying everyone around you. So I try to keep that in mind, you know, when I travel, that I was in those shoes once, and you know, as long as your kid is not being obnoxious just because you're not paying attention, if they're just being kids, then I don't get upset about that. The triplets were actually really good. And the first leg of our flight home wasn't bad. The last 2 legs, oh my goodness, the last 2 legs were the biggest airplanes, and yet I felt like we had the least amount of room. It felt like we were literally sardined in there, which is crazy to me when they're the biggest planes. But our very last leg from Houston to home, we had, the row in front of us had 2 kids, one of which was a baby, and the row behind us had like a 3-year-old. And the 3-year-old wasn't bad. The baby cried most of the entire flight. And the 3-year-old was pretty well behaved until, I don't know, she slammed her finger in like the window shade or something. Something upset her and she started screaming. And it was a late night flight. And, you know, the plane is dark because people are trying to sleep and whatnot. And, oh man, that just reminded me. I think it was on our flight to Canada, one of our flights there. It was also a late night flight because we didn't arrive in Bangor until almost midnight. And somebody on the plane who was like a row behind me, but on the opposite side of the aisle, was reading. But instead of using the reading light that they provide that's up in the roof that you can angle so it's not in people's faces, she was using her phone as a flashlight. But she had it angled so it was shining like right in my face the entire flight. Just, yeah, guys, when you fly, try to think about your fellow passengers. You know, we're all shoved in the little tin can for however long the flight is. Just be considerate. Anywho, yeah, it was a nice trip. We didn't get everything done that we were hoping to. We didn't get to talk to anybody about our permanent residency. Still waiting on that. Still haven't heard anything one way or the other. So yeah, still crossing my fingers. Everything is fine. We didn't get to talk to a realtor. We called one, but no one called us back. And we actually drove by and looked at a couple of the houses that we had seen because we thought, you know, well, we were hoping that he would contact us so that we'd be able to go look at a couple of them, but it didn't happen. Which is fine. You know, I told my husband, but until we're actually, know that we're ready to move and buy something, there's not a whole lot of point in I mean, I wanted to go inside and look at them just to kind of get an idea, but I'm trying to think. And all the times that we've been up there, I've never been in an actual, like, single family home. My mother-in-law, they live out in the middle of nowhere on an old farmhouse that's been in her family for generations. And it's like an old two-story house that was built back in the 1800s. And all of his kids live in apartments. Well, I guess not all of them. The one that doesn't live in an apartment, I've never been to his house. But anyway, I wanted to go inside and look in a more modern house. We didn't get to do that. And actually the house that we drove around to look at ended up getting sold. So clearly it wasn't going to last long anyway, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to go in and look around. Things are different up there because it gets so cold. I've never been in a house that had baseboard heaters before. Of course, his folks have a wood stove. They also have mini splits, those heat pumps. Those are becoming very popular up there. In fact, his mom was just telling us that she wished they had waited a couple of years before getting theirs because I guess now they're more efficient at lower temperatures. They've done some upgrades and things to them, and so the ones that they have are not as efficient at colder temperatures as with the ones you can buy now. But yeah, we're hoping that we can maybe go back up this summer and kind of look around. I would really love to be able to stay in my brother-in-law's cottage so we didn't have to pay for a hotel. We don't, when we travel up there, my husband isn't working, so he doesn't make a paycheck. And it would just help us with costs if we didn't also have to pay to stay in a hotel while we were there as well. Which is why we don't get up there as often as we would like. And that was one of the draws between, of moving to possibly Maine, was because it would be closer and we could just drive instead of having to spend, an entire day flying one way. So, 2 days of our trip is just flying there and back. And then, not getting a paycheck while we're gone, plus paying for the hotel and the rental car and the hotel, just adds up. So that's one of the reasons we haven't traveled up there as many times as we would like. I mean, we'd go up every summer if we could afford it. Just not that easy to do. I did while I was up there, I told you guys I looked around for diamond painting stores. I did find a Michael's. It didn't really have anything. And I mean, it had some Diamond Dot stuff, but I get more selection if I order online. And we did go to a couple of dollar stores because I wanted to check them out. And I did find a couple of diamond painting kits, but they're like ones that are aimed at kids, so they were super small. So it looks like online ordering is going to be my friend once we move up there, because yeah, it just doesn't look like there's a whole lot of options. I know there's some small stores, and you know, God, that there's a part of me that would love to open up my own diamond painting store once I get up there. I know there's a couple of small kind of like mom and pop shops. I know Craft Pack Canada is up there. I was actually just watching a video of hers. She was making, she'd made a temperature diamond painting. I don't know if you guys know what those are, like a temperature blanket, but a diamond painting. You guys, she cut it into 3. So it was this big long strip of the, you know, days of the year. And then she cut that into 3. Literally, my heart stopped when she started cutting into it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I spent an entire year diamond painting on something, if I could just rip into it like that. Like, it wasn't even my painting, and she started cutting it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. Anyway, she did some cool things with it. So, you know, it turned out fine, but I just, yeah, like I have trouble cutting off a row of drills when I'm framing something. I want to get my frame exactly so I don't have to cut off any drills. 1, because I don't have the steadiest hand, and 2, after I place all the diamonds, I don't want to cut them off and throw them away. I spent a lot of time placing those diamonds. So anyway, okay, let me pick another color here. And we are so glad to be home. You know, it's one of those weird things where it was fun. I enjoyed our time while we were traveling, but it's nice to be back at our home with all of our things, and, you know, sleep in our own bed and take a shower in our own shower. Although, so my youngest stayed home, and my youngest loves baths. I mean, he takes showers, but he loves baths. And our bathtub is bigger. So I expected that he would use our bathtub while we were gone. However, he apparently also used our shower. And I am very short. And when I got in, the water was hitting me directly in the face because my son is taller than I am. And so I was, you know, rearranging the shower heads. We have one of those shower heads that has 2. There's like a fixed shower head, and then underneath it there's one that is on a hose that you can remove and you know, use as a handheld. And I was trying to move the handheld around, and I don't know what I did, but I moved it the wrong way, and it fell on the floor directly on to one of my toes. So I now have a black and blue toe, and that's been a week, and it's still purple. So yeah, I was like, next time, just, you know, make a note of where it is when you start so you can move it back, because not all of us are 6 feet tall. And yeah, and then actually the very next day I was in there and it still wasn't adjusted quite right, and I almost dropped it on my toe again. Luckily I managed to avoid it, but man, whew, that would have been bad, dropping it on my toe that was already injured. What else has been going on? So it's been cold since we came back from Canada, which, you know, it's January, no big surprise. But it's kind of funny that there have been there have been a few days where it's actually been warmer where we were in Canada than it is here, which is crazy. So I was joking with my husband, oh, we should have stayed longer so we could enjoy the warm weather up there. And then like the very next day, it turned cold up there. I think he was telling me where we were looking at in Maine for houses was supposed to be like minus 56 with the wind chill. And it was like minus 30 something where his mom is. And so we were, yeah, their stove was running overtime trying to keep everything warm. They have a big wood stove in their kitchen that they use to heat the house, but it's a 2-story house. I don't know. I've never stayed in their house. I'm allergic to cats and they have cats. And so we've never stayed there overnight. So I don't know how cold it gets upstairs, but I mean, imagine you're a whole floor. I mean, I'm sure the rooms right above the stove stay warm, one of which is the bathroom to help keep the pipes from freezing, but that means there's only one bedroom, and it's actually not one that anybody uses as a bedroom. It's an office. And my mother-in-law was actually saying she was contemplating changing that into her room now that it's going to be just her, so that it would be warmer. Anyway, yeah, it's been kind of crazy. My husband and I got a small solar battery. It came with a solar panel and it's like a battery pack, and we got it for like in case of power outages and stuff. So like if our power went out, we had a battery that we could use to charge our cell phones, charge our iPads, you know, that kind of thing, so that we could keep some communication devices running. So we've been playing around with it, trying to figure out, you know, where we put stuff and, you know, what angle and things to use to get the best power and fastest charging, all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to learn about it because we want to have solar in our house up in Canada. We're going to have a backup generator and a wood stove, maybe two. But just learning the ins and outs of it has been interesting. Yeah, just reiterated to me that I want to do that because, man, energy is just getting more and more expensive. I think I told you guys before, our house here is heated with natural gas, and our electric is our air conditioning. So we have bigger bills for gas in the winter and bigger bills for electricity in the summer. You know, I told my husband a couple years ago, we got stuck with a really big gas bill unexpectedly because natural gas is not regulated, and because of the high demand. You know, that was back a couple of years ago when they had all those outages in Texas and their grid shut down, and they're struggling with some storms right now too. And so I told my husband, you know, I want to get some electric heaters because that will actually be cheaper for us than running our gas furnace. And our gas bill this last month was $300, and it's supposed to be colder this month than it was last month. So, you know, nothing like the $1,100 bill we got stuck with a couple years ago, but yeah, I want to find an alternative source because, you know, this nonsense of where the price of natural gas fluctuates so widely that, you know, we have no way of knowing from one day to the next how much it's going to be. And it's supposed to be pretty cold here. Ooh, someone is flying a helicopter overhead. I hope you guys can't hear that. It's kind of noisy. So yeah, just looking at different things that we want to do and how we want to approach them. My husband also found a place that manufactures smaller homes, not tiny homes, but smaller homes, and they're in the province where we're going to be. So we may be contacting them and talking with them about what we would like to build and all of that. I think to begin with, we're going to live in the city first. I really want to do that and just kind of get used to the area, and it'll be easier for us to do that if we're not living out in the boonies where we have to, you know, make a jaunt. It'll be easier, like if my husband is working, for my son and I to just get out and go kind of drive around on our own if we don't have to take a bunch of back roads and things that are going to be something I don't want to drive in the first place. So we'll probably do that for the first at least year, and that'll give us time to figure out what we want to do and see if anything comes open out where we want to build. It would be nice to be able to find some place that like already had the septic installed, the well installed, that kind of stuff. That would save us some money. But we don't know exactly what we want yet, so. Oh yeah, just trying to, you know, now that we're back at home, get back into my regular routines. My son and I have been back going for our morning walks. We skipped a couple this week because of my toe. It was so black and blue, I didn't want to shove it in tennis shoes for us to go walk. Plus it was cold, so it was a nice excuse not to do that. getting back into my routines with my own stuff, my own bed, my own shower. I can have my tea in the mornings with my cinnamon and honey, and just, yeah, getting back into my routines. I'm a very routine oriented person, and I need those routines. That helps keep me on an even keel, which, I told my husband jokingly and relatives while we were up in Canada that I'm going to start telling people that I'm retired because, you know, for whatever reason, that's our default question when we meet people. What do you do? I don't want to just say I do nothing, and I'm not really a stay-at-home mom anymore. So what do? I'm retired. I mean, even though I'm not old enough to collect retirement or any of that, I'm essentially retired. Um, I mean, it's been weird because, up until last year, I was working, even though it was only part-time, but I mean, I've worked since I was 16. And just, I feel like this is what it feels like to be retired. Like I'm not working, so what do I do with my time? My husband is still working, so, he's not here. My son does his own thing. I mean, he's here and we talk during the day or whatever, but he's doing homework and other stuff. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of what do I want to do with all this time that I have now that I didn't used to. So I'm trying to figure out, what I can do. I don't. I've considered finding other part-time work. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'm kind of waiting for our PR to figure out what we're going to do so I have some kind of a timeline. I think that's the hardest part for me. It's not actually the waiting, although admittedly I'm not good at that. It is, I can't really make any plans because I don't want to make plans for us staying here because we're not planning on staying here. So things that I could be focusing on, I'm not because we won't be here, hopefully. And I can't make plans for what we're going to do there until I have kind of a timeline. And so, yeah, it's just kind of, I'm in this weird limbo. So one of the things is I'm trying to keep my brain busy because I need to. And my husband and I were talking, and I've mentioned before, I at some point we're really interested in doing like a lifestyle type vlog YouTube channel about us moving up there and what it took us to get there and what we're going to do once we're there. I also have ideas for several different online small business type things that I would like to do once we get up there. So one of the things I was talking about was I really should probably get a better video editor. I currently just use iMovie and it's fine for what I use it for. But I can't do a lot of the fancy things that you see other people doing, which admittedly for the kind of channel that I run currently, I don't really need, but it would be nice. So anyway, I was talking about getting a different video editor, but I'm like, I need to play around with it and learn it. So he got me a new one, which I'm going to need some time to spend learning how it works. It is very intimidating looking compared to what you get with iMovie. And iMovie is meant to be kind of a stripped down version. It's meant to be not intimidating. And I mean, it's a great editor. I don't want to say that it isn't. I've run the channel for 2 years now, almost, with it. And I'll still be using it, for the foreseeable future because I think it's going to take me a little bit to learn how to use this other editor and to get it to where it's kind of intuitive. Like I've used iMovie long enough now that, I know a lot of the shortcuts, and so things just go faster, and trying to learn all of that while also kind of learning a whole new ecosystem is a little intimidating. But I'm going to do it. I think it will be helpful down the road. It'll open up some other opportunities as well. And we'll see. I actually enjoy editing, so I guess there's that. I don't know if I'll still enjoy it once it's in this intimidating program, but we'll see. Plus, if I spend some time learning how to use it, that always takes out, fear of the unknown. That's part of the intimidation factor. So, yeah. So I'm going to be learning that. And then also, maybe I will get back to learning French, because that was something, you know, once again, traveling up there. Most people speak English, but for a lot of like the stores and things, that's not their default. Like we went to Walmart and this lady said something to me, and I'm sure I looked at her like a deer in headlights because I had no idea what she said. And, you know, my husband's lived there long enough that he recognizes words even though he doesn't speak French. Um, just, you know, simple things like when you go to a restaurant and they call out your order number, they call it out in French first and then in English. And so, I mean, it's not like we can't get around. I just personally want to be able to understand what people are saying. So anyway, okay, that's, I think, my life update. So let me pick out a color here, and then I will jump into my diamond painting update. Oh, I finally got the last of my Black Friday orders. My Jaded Gem Shop order arrived, and I got my Diamond Art Club, my Flower Crazy that I had ordered. It showed up. They actually showed up on the same day, weirdly. So I have all of my outstanding orders, and I haven't ordered anything else. So I'm doing good there. But that got me to thinking, one of the things that I want to do this year is to try some other diamond painting companies. I'm looking for other licensed diamond painting companies. Now, so I'm asking you for what's a good place that sells licensed paintings that I should try that you haven't seen me order from. So not Diamond Art Club, not Dreamer Designs, not Oraloa, not Jaded Gem Shop, not Diamond Painting Shop, not Treasure Studios Art, not Heaven and Earth, not DIY Moon, not Craftably, not Crafties, not Diamond Painting Deutschland, not Diamond Dots. I've done kits from all of those. Those are all the kind of big license ones that I could think of, and I've done all of those. But I got to thinking, you know, there's got to be other licensed companies that I haven't tried, right? I know some people have told me about Bella Safina. Some of hers are licensed, some aren't. And so I've had my eye on a couple from her, but they never seem to be in stock when I go to order them. There's a place called The One with the Diamond Art. I haven't had a chance to look them up, so I don't know. I think they have licensed ones. I've not been from there. Carrot Art I've heard of, but I think on that one, there's Carrot Art, and there's one that's a Lola Rose, I think is the other one I looked at, and they don't have a ton of selection. They are licensed, but they don't have a ton of selection, and they just haven't had anything that I wanted to buy. So yeah. Oh, did I mention Carrot Art? Anyway, I'm sure there's some other ones. I know there's one I think it's out of Canada, called like Captured by Radiance. I've not ordered anything from them because, again, they just haven't had anything that I wanted. So yeah, I know about Uniquely Yours Down Under. I would prefer not to order from Australia just because it takes so long. Home Craftologies down there, I've done a couple of them. So yeah, just, you know, if there's any other licensed ones, let me know. I'm sure there's some in the UK that I've not tried, but it would be easier for me if I could try some that were in the US. So if you guys know some that either are in the US or ship from the US, yeah, help a girl out. Leave me a comment down below and let me know. You guys, I have so many WIPs going on at the moment that I am starting to get a little crazy. You know, for a while there, I was like, oh, it's fine if I have all of these open, and even if I'm not working on them, I'm starting to feel really guilty about the SpongeBob one because it's hanging in my craft room. So I see it all the time, and I'm like, oh, I really should get busy with that one. I have 3 hanging downstairs in my our empty room down there. I have 2 Heaven and Earth designs, one of which has been kitted up. The other one hasn't. And then I have a Treasure Studios Art that hasn't been kitted up. Those don't bother me because they're not hanging in my face. But I have those open. And then I have my Heaven and Earth that I'm actually have been working on. Not a whole lot lately, but I have been working on it. My Pegasus one, that is currently a WIP. I have this one that is a WIP. I have my penguin trio that is a WIP, and then I opened my Mica Gelina so that I can do that one. And you guys, I'm just to the point where I'm like, oh, I have to, oh yeah, on my fox one, I just have so many of them that I'm like, I think I think maybe 3 is the maximum I should have going at any one time. I do like having choices, and like this one is a round, my penguin is a square, my heaven and earth is a square, the Mica Gelina is a square, my diamond dots is a square. So I have, I can flip back and forth between the 2 of them. That's nice. But I think my brain is just getting overwhelmed with, I have too many things open. Just for me personally. I mean, I've, like I said, when I opened all of them, I felt like, oh, this will be good. I'll have choices. And for a while it was, but now I feel like I have too many things to do and not enough time to do them in. Some of that may be because, we were gone, and so I didn't have very much time to diamond paint while we were traveling. Some of it, again, is just my personality. But I also, need to do things to keep caught up for videos and things like that. I think that's part of my problem too. I have some stuff backed up because we were gone. My product review unboxings that I do have gotten backed up, and I've got stuff laying in the floor that I need to do those. I've got some things that I've finished that I need to share with you guys, and I'm just, feeling a little scattered with that many WIPs all at once. How many WIPs, like what's the largest number of WIPs you've ever had going at once? And have you hit kind of a limit like me where you had so many and then you were like, whoop, shouldn't do that again? Like I said, I don't mind having more than one on the go at a time, but I think I've reached my limit. I need to get better about planning what I'm going to be doing too. I think last year, because I had more goals, it was a little bit more structured, and now with fewer goals this year, it's just not as structured, and I need to sit down and actually spend some time planning. I saw something the other day, some meme or something, and it was like, are you planning or are you just making to-do lists? And that kind of hit me because I feel like I spend a lot of time making to-do lists, and I feel like I don't ever get anything accomplished. And maybe that's because I didn't plan it correctly, and so I'm not getting where I want to go because I know what the end goal is, but I didn't really plan on how to get there. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I need to sit down and kind of think about that. I've got some big projects that I wanted to do that I've already gotten shunted off to the side because I'm so scattered. It has been really nice, though, to be back in my comfortable crafting space with all of my stuff around me and, having access to all my storage and all my pens and my comfy table and, just all those things that I didn't really think about when I was traveling. I mean, do I need all of those things to diamond paint? No, but it's nice to have them and to be comfortable, in my comfortable chair on my big desk where I can spread out all of my stuff and I can leave it out and I don't have to pack it up every time, we're going somewhere, or keep moving my husband's stuff out of the way because he's using the same desk that I am. And yeah, it was just, it's nice to be home with all of my things. I think it did kind of bring home for me, yes, for short term I can put up with it, but definitely going to be looking at things with a different eye for what I want to take and what I want to leave behind when we do finally move. And that's going to be interesting too. There are pieces that I definitely want to take, but then I told my husband, I saw somebody who was interior designer, and they said, before you go out and buy a bunch of furniture when you move into a new house, just live in it for a little bit and see how you use it, because sometimes what you think how you're going to live is not how you actually end up living. Like in our current house, we have a front hall closet where we put our coats, but it's not very big. There's not enough room. And when people come over, we just, well, we need to get rid of some things. That's part of the problem. But we ended up installing a coat rack behind the door, and we use that way more often than the coat closet. I think I've mentioned before, my family has gotten in the habit of, pretty much everyone but me shucks their shoes as soon as they come in the door. And so I would love to have some sort of a shoe rack or whatever. We don't currently have room for one in our current house, but you know, that's something, now that I know that, that's something that I'll be looking for in other houses, is there room for a shoe rack? Because that would make me less crazy, because their shoes get everywhere and they're just in the way as you walk in the door. Yeah, we're back. So I have some things that I had on hold. I need to get back into my diamond painting. I also need to get busy on, like I said, planning ahead. One of the things I need to be planning for is my upcoming diamond painting events. So I'm going to be doing both DP for pets and DP for vets again. DP for pets will be in June. DP for vets will be in November. And I am going to be looking for sponsors. So if you know anyone, or you are someone who would like to sponsor that event, hit me up at my email, diamondpaintinganonymous@gmail.com. I will have, you know, giveaway stuff either way. I am hoping to finish up a couple of projects this week so that I can move on to some other things. I don't have all of the ABs that I wanted for my Mika Jolina, so I'm debating whether I want to take the time to order them. I mean, I could go ahead and get started on it. I think I've got a couple of ABs that I can use, but I didn't have any other colors, and I think I would like to order some, like some of these, like a quad cube, or maybe some special shaped ones, and you know, try those out. So I think I'm going to put in a couple of drill orders for ABs and some other things, and we'll see how that goes. And that way I have them on hand, so that when I'm ready to do that, I'm ready to go. Okay, I think I'm going to call that there, guys, because let me zoom out so you guys can see how much I've done, which admittedly is not much, but I want to stop there. So let me stop my timer while I'm thinking about it, because I still have kits to give away. My 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, I still have people that have never contacted me, and I need to get them out of my way, frankly. So I'm going to be drawing 3 new names. I did have 2 of the last 3 contact me, so those are gone. So that's good. But I'm going to do 3 more. So let me get my wheel ready here. Oh, let me go grab a pen and paper, and I will be right back so I can write down who the winners are, because I'll forget. So 1 second. Okay, guys, let's pick the first winner. Let's see who that is. Hopefully that's in focus for you guys so you can see it. And the first winner is Colleen Braun. Congratulations, Colleen. So make sure you contact me. My email is down below, diamondpaintinganonymous@gmail.com. Same thing, you guys. You have 48 hours to contact me. So by, I don't know, probably my next Thursday video, if you haven't contacted me, then I'll be drawing some more. So we'll see. Okay, so Colleen was winner number 1. Let's draw winner number 2. And once again, I hope this is in focus for you guys. And our second winner is Teresa Kuser. Teresa, also don't forget to contact me. My email is down below. And now we are ready for winner number 3. Hopefully this will be the last of the kits, but we'll see. Okay, so winner number 3 this time is... Winner number 3 is... Jen's Crafting World. So Jen, if you will contact me. Okay, congratulations to the 3 winners. That is Colleen Braun, Teresa Kuser, and Jen's Crafting World. Again, these are your YouTube names, so Jen, I apologize. I don't know what your actual name is, so if you will contact me and let me know, we'll see if this ends up being my last draw or not. So a huge thank you to everybody who's participated in this. We'll see. I may do one more draw. Hopefully this will be the end of it, but if not, I'm going to draw until they're all gone. Okay. I think that's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.